Good afternoon, everybody, and once again, welcome to Capuchin TV, especially to this program, taking care of your psycho-spiritual well-being. My name is Jose Segunjobi, Reverend Father. This program runs every Thursday, 2:30 to 3:30 to 3 p.m. Eastern African time. Again, in a very special way, I want to wish you happy Lent. It's a period for us to actually recollect ourselves and then, take care of ourselves, body and soul and spirit. So last week we were talking about this very important topic on therapeutic parenting, and then we had a guest here who is also still here today in the person of Reverend Sister Dr. Elizabeth Ngozi Okpalaenwe, a missionary sister of the Holy Rosary, and who actually is a senior lecturer at the Psycho-Spiritual Institute, and of course lectures and do therapy in different parts of Kenya here. So once again, sister, welcome.
Thank you, Father.
Yeah, last week I said we were watching, we were talking about therapeutic parenting. Do you want, in a very brief way, just recap what we talked about last week so that our viewers who are not here last week will get to know what we're talking about?
Yes, we are talking about therapeutic parenting in terms of children who are traumatized.
Okay.
And the trauma could be caused by so many reasons. Mm-hmm. It could be absence of parents in the house, mm-hmm. separation from home,
yes.
Children who have been maltreated mm-hmm. and treated badly, children who do not have proper upbringing,
yes.
can be traumatized.
Okay.
And to handle that children, parents need to learn how to be therapeutic, okay. in their behavior. And you don't need to be a counselor to practice this.
Okay. Right. Thank you very much. Once again, that was brief what we talked about last week. This week we'll be looking at other area, and especially in the area of the responses and of course the strategies to avoid, things we need to avoid in our parenting, especially for us parents. So, sister, what can we talk about the responses to parenting?
Yes, today I want to explain further what the parents who really want their children back in a healthy position should avoid.
Okay.
You know that everybody, they have their own way of seeing and understanding things. Children can never understand things the way parents or adults do understand. Therefore, we need a lot of patience, a lot of understanding to follow the children. Okay. So in that case, there are certain things that make children suffer psychologically, emotionally, and they move on in life being traumatized. Before I go to look at those points, I want to quickly say that parents who decide to take the children upon themselves, neglecting the other parents, is doing so many harm to the children.
You are saying like the husband and wife, and then maybe it's only one that is taking care and the other one is almost like absent?
Yes, okay. Or prevented from accessing the children. Okay. They are doing more harm to those children than to themselves. Parents should not bring the problem between them to the children, because it has made so many children to even leave home and decide to live in the streets.
And then what happened with the single parents?
Now, that is a big problem because many people that are single, the children suffer the same. Because the way we are made, we are to be parented by both father and mother. Okay. There should be a male and female figure in our lives. When that is missing, they struggle. Okay. Yeah. And many of them also are traumatized.
So many those who are in same-sex marriage are going to be having the same issue. Is that what you're saying? Because now you're talking about male and female, and then we are the way the world is going now, and then you see people talking about male-to-male parenting a child, or female-to-female parenting a child, where what you call the father figure or the mother figure is missing in the child's life.
Yeah.
So
once it is missing, whether same-self marriage or husband and wife, once the two people are not there to bring the children up, it affects the children.
Okay.
And one of the things the parents should try to avoid is hitting or smashing the children. Many times we think that by hitting and beating them, they will hear what we are going to say. In the olden days, in the 60s, 80s, 90s, it may have worked.
Because it worked because my father beat the hell out of me, but I'm never angry at my father. I know when my father beat me, and I think I'm well cultured.
Well, you might be well cultured, but you have never forgotten the day you were beaten.
No, I don't even remember.
You don't even remember. That was in those days.
Okay.
But in this 21st century,
the children are different.
Yes, children are different and they think differently.
Okay.
And the way of helping the child to love and understand are becoming different.
Okay.
So we have other ways we can show that we love children other than hitting them. And that's why I'm talking about being therapeutic.
Okay.
Helping the children to understand the reason they did what they did, instead of allowing them to learn through beating.
Okay.
For example, I know one woman who wanted to stop the children from moving out at night for parties. He thought by locking them out of the house, closing the door, denying them food, will solve the problem. So the children devised a different tactics. So when the woman has locked everywhere and gone to bed, when they heard her snoring, the children gently open the window and out through the window. And they make sure they come back before she wakes from sleep.
From snoring.
Yes. You see now. So she has not solved the problem. So when she realized that, then he knew that there must be another way it can be done. And that way is to call them in for discussion.
Okay.
First of all, he explained to them what happened to her during her own time when he disobeyed her parents to move out, how he suffered. And that was why he was protecting, thought he was protecting them. So he explained to them and then duplicated the key and gave them a copy and told them, sort of passing through the window each time, pass through the door.
Okay.
So that the house belongs to you. And that gave the children the opportunity to also share their difficulties and what they are going through. And with time, eventually, they decided to stop going.
Okay.
Yeah. So discussion, taking the child as very important and that his or her opinion matters in everything, brings the child closer to you than away from you. If you remember the time you were beaten, you are always afraid of your parents.
No.
You are not afraid of them.
No, because except, that's what I'm trying to bring about here, except for the period, because like being afraid of what is not to do something wrong. Because for every time I was beaten, I knew the reason why I was beaten.
Okay.
I was not beaten out of just being beaten. I know I've done something out of the ordinary, or I've disobeyed in a particular way, and I know when I'm being chastised, just like the scripture says, spoil the rod, spare the rod and spoil the child, which actually I think to a level it works.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you an example. You see, like in my culture, we have these two say, because that's what I want to say to what you are saying right now, so that people can also understand from that. We have this language, they said abiko and akoba. And what does that mean? Is that the child that is born that is not trained, and the child that is trained that is not yield to the training. And in that way, because I'm just thinking, maybe you can help us more, because when parents try, even parents who train, they are doing everything. Parents who try to be this way to relax, to help their children. Okay, I want to discuss with them. I want to carry them along. And you see another kind of a child that you see you are talking to the child walks out of you and slams the door.
No, something else must have happened.
Okay, so like what would have happened to make that child to do that?
Like many a times when we look at what the children are doing, we begin to blame them.
Okay.
And shame them.
Okay.
And when you blame them and shame them, it becomes very difficult for them to own up. And the way to avoid that shame is either to walk away on you or to say something that will make you even more angry because they're trying to protect themselves.
Okay.
So like it may have worked during your own time, but many children will frown at it, even those who are listening to me, that when something happened, yeah, he has done wrong. There's no doubt about it. But blaming them and shaming them will not bring any result.
So how do you correct? So tell us, how do we correct a child? Maybe because we still have we will soon go on break, so that I don't break you while you are talking about that. And the thing, okay, maybe we need to, I'm just reflecting, you know, I'm just I'm reflecting here is that we used to say that there's no best parenting.
Yeah.
No best parenting, because as much as you are trying your best, that's what I'm talking about the other time, you have no idea how the child is internalizing what you are doing. Even what you consider right, it may be wrong for the child.
The way you understand
exactly,
it.
and what you consider wrong may actually be like, that's the right thing for the child, and that's make it more difficult. And that's why we need to learn this issue of therapeutic parenting, to know actually how do we go about it. Again, we are just trying, because there are many theories out there, and then the world is still the way it is today. I don't know why the world is still the same way. Even the Bible did not even help a lot of people. Even when they have to train their children in the way of the Lord, you still see children still refusing to go in the way of the Lord. So how do we deal with all these things there? So when we come back from break, we're going to have a little short break. By the time we come back, we continue to know, okay, sister will help us to know what do we do. Because I think about this every now and then. So before then, ciao.
Capuchin TV, huduma Katoliki ya uinjilishaji.
The Psychospiritual Therapy Institute, which we of the Luke Stera Leadership Foundation, in collaboration with Miss Joachim, have set up, is a project that I am very excited about, and I am very happy that I am part of the birthing of this project. It is aimed at healing of pastoral agents that run into problem on account of widespread trauma, on account of burnout, on account of addictions, and all kinds of problems that pastoral agents do have. But with this project of the Psychospiritual Institute, we shall now be training experts in psychospiritual therapy who will be available in various countries, various dioceses and congregations to help their colleagues who are in difficult life situations of an emotional and psychological nature.
Capuchin TV, your Catholic identity.
Viewers, and again, welcome back to Capuchin TV, to this program, taking care of your psycho-spiritual well-being. And we are treating today therapeutic parenting, and we've been having an expert talking to us here, even though I'm trying to challenge her. But then she's been telling us about there are better ways to deal with children at home. Of course, we don't say that parents don't do their best or they don't know what they are doing too, but at the same time that there are, you know, from studies, from observations, from maybe dealing with parents, we begin to see that there are other ways we can actually deal with our children in such a way that it could make them turn out to be better people than, fearful, scared, and the traumatized children. I think that's what we're talking about here. So sister, so tell us, okay, we want to know, because I was just talking about, okay, before when we're off air, we were talking about, okay, what about children that you are trying to do everything possible, even come, do whatever, and these children are beginning to do. And sister is trying to say that, yes, there may have been something. She was giving an example which I want her to give right here to all of you right here, about that child that poured away the water. And then the way parents react. Can we talk about it again here?
Okay, this child mistakenly, he didn't mean to pour the water, but he poured the water on the ground. And what did the mother just looked at him and realized that he was aware that he has done that. The mother said nothing and was just calm, and the child went and brought something and started cleaning the thing. Okay. And the mother helped him to clean it up.
Okay.
Even if you are to blame her or him later, not immediately that thing happened. Because we have seen by assessing that he is aware. So you show empathy instead of blame.
Yeah, but actually that shouldn't even be blame at all, because I tell parents that too, like a child or somebody who is in your office that is lower than you did something, make a mistake, will say, how can you make that kind of, how can you do that kind of a thing? You are so this, you are so that, you spoil things. But if you as the boss or you as the parent do the same thing, you say it's a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You excuse yourself.
You excuse yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. So we are saying let the same excuse apply to the child.
Yeah.
Because that child is also a human being that needs dignity. Okay. Like one woman that did it so well. He bought a bottle of Coke and gave the bigger boy. That boy sipped and gave the younger one. That one put it in the mouth and wanted to finish, and the mother said, no, this Coke is to share between the two of you. And the child wanted to run and said, nobody will run after you. Just be a good girl and bring it back and give to the... He kept just saying that without using abusive words or to put her down. So the child eventually came back and, forcefully gave it to the boy. And mother said, no, he gave it to you gently, take it back and do the same. Yeah. So he took it back, gave to the boy, and started crying. Yeah. So the mother said, come. Yeah. And then he thought. He used actually the theory of pace. You play, you accept, you become curious, and then you educate. So he brought her now and said, now next time, why I gave it once for you to learn how to share. So he went and bought another Coke now and gave her. For me, it was a beautiful teaching. And he united the two children and the mother. Yeah. He never shouted. He never said, I will hit you. He never mentioned all those. So the child already knew that he has done something wrong. You don't need to make it worse. Because that's why some people, they run away from home. It may have worked before, during our time, your time, my time, and we go sad, and we go and apologize. This day, they will feel that they are not loved, or they are not cared about. And then some parents will insist on asking the child, why did you do this? That question, even us, the adults, cannot answer it. Nobody can answer the question, why? Okay, if you say, I made a mistake, why did you make a mistake? What else will he answer? Nothing. So you put him in a tight corner where he cannot really defend himself.
Okay, so how do we avoid this?
It's not like avoiding, is understanding. And also putting yourself in the shoes of these children who are learning, trying to understand the world around them. Some truly don't know. It's not that they mean to hurt you. Again, I'm not excusing those who really go out to hurt their parents. Because there are some who, no matter what you do, it becomes very, very difficult. But what I have found that helped most families is really genuine involvement and discussion. Discussing with the children about the situation. Like now, parents, of course, they decide what to cook in the house. Okay? And there is this boy who wanted to get married, and this guy came around. In the morning, they were all day waiting for the mother to plan about what to cook. And the girl asked, why must we wait for our mother to plan for us? Why don't we decide what to cook food and give her as the mother? And the boy said, no, he doesn't allow it. So in that family, there's no freedom of choice. It's that whatever the mother says is what we do. And that's why most people cannot take responsibility, because they grew up in a home where they cannot make a decision. So instead of you to keep making decisions, bring your children in. At times they might even have better ideas than you.
Which is true.
Yeah. At times the ideas might not be good, but when you dialogue with them, say, yeah, mom, it's true, this one is not right. Because you have involved them, you have respected them, you have brought them in.
Okay. Are we saying your children should be your friends?
Exactly. Instead of just being there like, like strangers.
So your friend, you should. Okay, I put that because, in therapy we used to talk about, just look at the relationship between the therapist and the client, and we used to say that, of course, you don't have to change role. You have to recognize that you are the therapist and that person is the client, that you have to be friendly, but not to be friend.
No, in therapeutic parenting, you must have a boundary.
Okay.
And you must have a structure.
Okay.
Yes. It's not something that is open.
Because the way I'm understanding
that you do
is
anything you like.
That's what I'm coming. So I want you to help us to really clear that part, so that we don't begin to just look at it that the parent is losing his position as a parent. Because what is the purpose of what they call parenting? It's like modeling as well.
Yeah.
So when you are modeling, it means you have some particular things in there you want your children to learn from. So how you impart that is a different story, but please tell us.
Of course, the children has to learn from you. If you want to parent your children very well, they should learn from how you behave. For example, if every night you go out, what are you teaching them?
They will go out too every night.
Yes. If you come back and tell them lies, what are you teaching them?
They will be telling lies.
Fine. So that's what I'm saying. And when you tell lie, your own lie is okay.
But when they tell lie,
you beat them. You see? So they have learned how to tell lie. Like a boy that was asked to go and prepare for church. And he boldly told the mother, men don't go to church. Because the father was lying down in the bed.
Wow.
So the father heard it and got up and said, no, men go to church, dress and let's go. So he got up. That statement is not to spy the mother. It's to tell you that there's a man there who is still lying down. So, and he's a boy. So men don't go to church. So if you beat him for saying that, have you done something good? No. Even if you scold him. But thank God the father heard it and got up and said, no, we go to church, let's dress. Because the children learn from the way they see our parents behaving. If truly our parents should do therapeutic parenting, they should go back on the way they live their life and they behave before those children. Even as young as 2 years, they observe everything our parents do. And then they will take it on board. They don't even know whether it is good or bad. They are doing it because I saw my father, I saw my mother doing that. Like that, I would say men don't go to church. He doesn't know what he's saying, but he's talking from what he observed. Yes.
And the parents need to really watch that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because our children, they watch everything we do, and most likely what they see you do is what they are going to do when they grow up. And that's why we need to be careful, even when parents begin to have arguments in front of children. They disagree, they shout on each other, they call each other's name. Those children, they are watching it, and probably they will be following after your footsteps. So parenting is something that we need to really yeah.
Yes, there is another aspect that often the parents do, thinking that they are punishing their children for what they have done, denying them basic needs, basic food.
Denying, or they don't have?
They have,
okay,
but they deny.
Okay.
There's a difference between somebody who don't have, and even if you don't have, for example now, if you don't have and you explain to me, like a man who lost his job, he could not find any money, and has been going up and down borrowing in order to provide for the children. So when he came, I told him, no, involve the children. Let them know that you don't have. Then they will help you. He says, sister, he's afraid that the children will not see him as dad. They will begin to look down on him and all that. I said, no, try it. Let's see what happens. So he went home and called the family meeting, the wife and the children, and said, I have lost a job. I have been struggling, borrowing. And the children said, no, Dad, you shouldn't be borrowing because of us. Now we know. The other one decided, said, because of this, Dad, I will start selling cold water during break. They decided on what to do to help themselves. One of them went and told the principal, who was looking for a security, that his dad would like to be a security. And she got a job. But if he carried it on his own, because of the fear that the children will know and look down on me, they will not respect me.
Your ego.
Yes.
The father.
Yes. But the children understand that you have been providing and now you are not able.
Okay, thank you very much, sister. That was very beautiful, and I think all of us are learning from that here on this therapeutic parenting, that it's not all about you trying to show your ego in the house, trying to prove that you are the boss. No, your children are human beings, and they also deserve the respect that is due them. And of course, you show them good example, not just saying by the word of mouth to say this is what you are supposed to do, and you yourself, they see you doing the contrary. So sister, we are almost closing. What is the last word you want to tell people?
Hello viewers, and I hope that you have learned something about parenting therapeutically. You need a lot of patience, and you also need to work on yourself as parents in order to help other children. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much once again. It's always lovely to have you here. Welcome to you, viewers too. We hope to see you again next week, same time, 2:30 to 3 p.m. Thursday. And we are talking about Eastern African time. And we are in the season of Lent, like I told you at the beginning. And then from next week, we'll be looking at how Lent actually help us or can influence our health in the biopsychosocial techno-spiritually aspect. So again, bye for now, and God bless you.